Let me tell you something most people overlook in silence, something so quietly present inside all of us, yet so rarely embraced. You carry within you a force so real, so unshakably potent, that when awakened, begins to shape the world around you. It's not just desire, it's not fleeting hope, it is the vivid, deliberate power of visualization, the seed of every breakthrough, every revolution, every story of transformation. This power isn't mystical, it's methodical. It responds to repetition, emotion, conviction. The images you allow to live inside your mind start shaping how you move, how you speak, how you react to challenges. Your subconscious doesn't argue, it accepts. And once it accepts, your reality begins to bend around the vision you hold, whether conscious or not. You see, most people unknowingly run the wrong movie in their minds. They rehearse struggle. They visualize failure. They obsess over what's missing. And life, ever obedient, mirrors back that exact script. Not because life is cruel, but because the mind is powerful and neutral. It creates what you feed it, not what you wish for, but what you expect, what you feel, what you see on loop inside your mind. The hidden force Joseph Murphy spoke of is not hidden because it's buried deep. It's hidden because no one looks inward long enough. People seek power outside, but never pause to realize that the greatest tool for success is already wired within them, waiting to be remembered. It's not just what you think, it's what you embody emotionally. And visualization, when done vividly, emotionally, consistently, becomes the blueprint of your becoming. Now, before we continue, if this message is resonating with you, make sure to subscribe and like. It helps this message reach more people who, just like you, are ready to awaken what's been dormant far too long. Before anything becomes real, it must first be imagined. Not casually, not vaguely, but deeply, deliberately, with a clarity so sharp it begins to mold your very sense of self. The truth that Joseph Murphy and so many visionaries pointed to is this: everything begins in the mind. Your thoughts are not just passing signals, they are blueprints. And your imagination? It is the architect. Reality doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to who you are and who you believe yourself to be. That belief is formed by repetition, reinforced by emotion, and projected through your imagination. When you visualize something vividly, you are not pretending, you are programming. You are installing a new script into your subconscious, which then seeks out ways to turn that vision into experience. Your current situation is not a trap, it's a reflection. What you see around you is not punishment or coincidence. It is a mirror of the most dominant picture your mind holds. If you continually see yourself limited, stuck, small, then the world will align with that image. But the moment you change the inner picture, the world has no choice but to shift. Joseph Murphy taught that your subconscious doesn't distinguish between what's real and what's vividly imagined. So if you rehearse failure, you will find it. But if you rehearse abundance, strength, breakthrough, then those begin to feel natural. And what feels natural becomes your default way of moving through life. You are not at the mercy of the outside world. You are the designer of your response, the crafter of your perception, the silent director behind every frame of the reality you're creating. That design begins and ends in the mind. The question is, what image have you allowed to become your truth? Thought alone is not enough. The universe does not move at the pace of your logic. It moves at the frequency of your emotions. And that is where most people go blind. They think, they speak, they plan, but they remain emotionally disconnected from what they claim to want. And without emotion, vision is just a flat image, a dream without fire. Joseph Murphy understood this with depth. The subconscious mind is not influenced by cold facts or lifeless affirmations. It listens to one voice only: emotion. If you visualize success but feel doubt, what you truly imprint is confusion. But when your feelings match your vision, when the picture in your mind is charged with belief, excitement, gratitude, certainty, then you activate something far beyond motivation. You ignite creation. This alignment between feeling and vision is where attraction becomes magnetism. You begin to draw people, ideas, and events that match that vibration, not by effort, but by resonance. You are no longer chasing outcomes, you are embodying them. And the world begins to reflect that embodiment back to you, piece by piece. But here's the key: emotion must be present now, not later. Not when things start working, not when success is proven. You must feel it as real before it's visible. Celebrate before there's anything to celebrate. Walk with the energy of someone who's already aligned with the life they're building. Not as a performance, but as a quiet knowing, a shift in identity. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you emotionally accept as real. And once your inner state holds that level of clarity and emotion, the external world follows. Not out of magic, but out of law. The law of resonance, the law of vibration, the law Joseph Murphy spoke of with such unshakable clarity. Every battle you face in the outer world is first won or lost within your mind. The greatest wars are not fought with noise, but in silence. In those quiet moments when no one is watching, when the world is still, and it's just you and the voice inside your head whispering doubts, fears, or possibility. That is where your reality begins to form. Joseph Murphy often emphasized, you are not a prisoner of your circumstances, but a product of your inner script. That script, the one running on loop, is the real enemy or the ultimate ally. It's not the economy. It's not your past. It's not other people. It's the image you've accepted as true. And that image, left unchecked, becomes your fate. Most people don't fail because of lack of skill or resources. They fail because they keep projecting old programming into new opportunities. They carry limitations like luggage, rehearsing past defeats, imagining future struggle. Their subconscious complies, faithfully recreating the vision held within. That's not punishment, that's precision. But the moment you interrupt the pattern, the moment you stop playing the same internal movie, everything changes. Not instantly outside, but immediately inside. You begin to rewrite the narrative. Not with forced affirmations, but with aligned emotion and repeated vision. You don't deny the challenge. You rise above it by creating a stronger identity than the one shaped by your past. Your subconscious does not care if the new story is realistic. It cares only if it's repeated. Repetition is the language of reprogramming. And each time you choose to see yourself as capable, powerful, and whole, you are planting seeds of transformation that the world will eventually have no choice but to reflect. What you believe becomes what you seek. What you repeat becomes what you build. And what you build, over time, becomes the foundation of your reality. This is not abstract philosophy. This is the science of the subconscious, the mechanics of the invisible. It's the truth that Joseph Murphy devoted his life to uncovering. Belief, repeated often enough, becomes identity. And identity governs everything. The mind doesn't change by accident. It changes through rhythm, through exposure, through the deliberate choice to feed it a new image again and again until that image becomes familiar. And what is familiar begins to feel true. Most people feed their minds a diet of fear, doubt, and limitations, then wonder why success feels foreign. The truth is, the subconscious resists what it doesn't recognize. So if you haven't taught it success, it won't seek it. Not because you don't deserve it, but because it doesn't know how to find it. Repetition is the code that rewires your internal structure. Every time you visualize triumph, feel progress, embody greatness, you are layering mental bricks that support a new version of you. Not just in thought, but in being. You start walking differently, speaking differently, making choices that match your inner image. And over time, that internal blueprint turns into external structure. Belief is not about wishing, it's about alignment. You believe something when your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions all speak the same language. And to get there, you must rehearse it. You must feel it. Not just once, but relentlessly, daily, until the new story drowns out the old. This is not obsession. This is creation. You are not begging life to change. You are teaching your mind what to expect. And the moment expectation shifts, the world follows. Not because of chance, but because you finally became congruent with the success you once only imagined. You cannot wait to become. You must be. The path to success doesn't begin when things fall into place. It begins when you decide to act, think, and feel like the version of yourself that has already arrived. This is where most people get lost. They wait for proof. They wait for signs. But transformation never asks for permission. It demands embodiment. Joseph Murphy made it clear, your subconscious mind reacts to identity, not intention. You don't become successful and then feel worthy. You feel worthy. And then, success has no choice but to find its way to you. The shift doesn't happen outside. It happens in posture, in presence, in the silent decision to align your state with the reality you're calling in. This isn't arrogance. This is inner alignment. You walk differently because you no longer identify as the one who tries. You are now the one who is. You no longer hope things will change. You've decided. And that decision echoes in your behavior, in your energy, in your frequency. The universe does not respond to hesitation. It responds to clarity. Most never make this shift. They speak the dream, but wear the costume of their past. They say they're ready, but their thoughts replay the same fears. Embodiment is the bridge between vision and reality. It's when your inner world becomes so congruent, so deeply committed to the outcome, that reality must rearrange to reflect it. Act as if it's already yours, not because you're pretending, but because the truth begins in identity. When you become the version of you who already succeeded, you collapse the gap between desire and experience. And that collapse is where transformation lives. Resilience isn't born in chaos. It's forged in repetition, in the quiet, disciplined rehearsal of victory long before life tests you. Joseph Murphy knew this deeply. Your ability to rise doesn't come from reacting to pressure, but from training your mind to expect triumph no matter what surrounds you. You don't wait to be strong. You condition yourself to become unshakable. Every time you visualize success in the face of doubt, you are rehearsing strength. Each moment you see yourself standing tall while the world shakes, you are building a mental structure that doesn't collapse under resistance. Most people only imagine the outcome, but the ones who endure, they visualize the process, the fight, the discomfort, and still they see themselves rising. The subconscious mind treats repetition as truth. So if you keep feeding it resilience, it makes resilience your natural response. You stop breaking when things go wrong. You begin recalibrating. You adapt, not because you're fearless, but because your vision of who you are is louder than any setback. You've seen it. You've felt it 1,000 times in your mind before it ever became real. Real power is quiet. It doesn't shout. It whispers, "Keep going." It's in the moment you wake up discouraged, but move anyway. It's the silent push to stay on course, even when no one applauds. That's not just willpower. That's identity. Rehearsed, strengthened, forged through vision. The world tests everyone. But not everyone is prepared. You prepare not by bracing for chaos, but by anchoring your mind in the vision of who you choose to be. When that vision is repeated enough, it becomes who you are, and who you are cannot be shaken. You are not a passenger in this life. You are the architect. Every thought, every vision, every emotion you hold is a blueprint being handed to your subconscious. And your subconscious builds exactly what it's given. Joseph Murphy called this truth the greatest gift and the greatest responsibility. Your reality is not happening to you. It's responding to you. The moment you accept this, everything shifts. No more waiting. No more wishing. You stop negotiating with your fears. You stop outsourcing your power. You begin to understand that your environment is not your master. It's your reflection. And if the world around you feels misaligned, it's not because you're stuck, but because your inner image needs to evolve. You don't need more time. You need to decide. Decide who you are. Decide what you're becoming. And then act from that place. Not later. Now. Not when conditions are perfect. They never will be. Not when you feel completely ready. You won't. Clarity doesn't come before action. It comes from action. And boldness is what makes life bend in your direction. Take ownership of the movie playing in your mind. Choose each scene with intention. Infuse it with emotion. Rehearse it like your life depends on it. Because it does. The universe responds to those who show up as the version of themselves they are becoming, not the one they used to be. This is how you collapse timelines. This is how you stop waiting and start living. And now, as this message comes to an end, don't let the feeling fade. Let it drive you. Let it become a new standard. And if this resonated with something inside you, watch the other videos on this screen. They are here to remind you of the truth you've always carried. You are the creator. And your moment is now.